I don't know if you knew this, but Meghan McCain liked Trump's address to the union. It wasn't the State of the Union.
Oh, good.
He just got up there and was just talking, as he's wont to do. And she liked
freestyling.
It. And I just first want to say, before I get into the tweets of it all, that man dog walked your father. Okay? Like
up, down, left, right, and diagonal.
Right.
That's like all he did.
He dog walked him straight up until John McCain was in the grave. And here you are begging for a Scooby snack.
The idea of begging for a Scooby snack. Scooby was just given them, usually.
I'm just
he wasn't left wanting like this.
I just recall Meghan McCain when she used to block people for dragging her about things online. I was one of those people back in the day. This man, the shit that he talked about your father, you have the gumption, the gall, the nerve to agree with him on anything? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
The speech was also, specifically hyper ridiculous. This is the same speech where he talked about transgender mice, and what he meant was transgenic mice. He just made up an entire problem, which I know seems crazy. You've never heard Trump do anything like that before, but it was a ludicrous speech.
Actually, if you told me Brain from Pinky and the Brain was trans, I'd believe you.
Oh, I mean, the diabolical nature of him alone.
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah. I mean, also being that interested in film noir, he was clearly an Orson Welles tribute. Something trans is going on there.
Yeah. Brain, his favorite movie is Dressed to Kill. But, okay, this collection of tweets I'm going to give you from Meghan McCain. First of all, she wrote in response to this whole bullshit about this volleyball player who, was hurt during a volleyball game by a ball.
Oh,
and
right.
now she hates trans people
right.
playing volleyball
Classic
with
soap
her.
opera storyline. Right, yes.
First of all, the ball hit you in the head, sis. Like, let's just talk about that. It just seems like you're bad at the game.
Right. Good volleyball players don't get hit, to put it in Trump verbiage.
Okay.
Yes.
She tweeted, Democrats defending young women suffering from traumatic brain injuries as a result of trans athletes is why they will continue losing every election.
Girl, you don't know what's going on.
And then Andy Cohen responded to her. Finally, by the way, because Andy Cohen has been friends with Meghan McCain through all of her bullshit, and she's been on Watch What Happens Live too many fucking times. He responded to her, surprised you're buying into the vilification of the trans community given the real problems happening in this country, your previous allyship of the LGBTQ community, and the fact that this non-issue affects about 4 people in this country. And then she said, surprised you're okay with violence against female athletes. And then she claimed that the player's account was just one story among many, and you have my cell. Always happy to talk private or publicly on either of our shows because these conversations are reductive to hash out on social media. Nobody's coming on your show, girl.
Girl, you're not Jack Parr. You're not Johnny Carson.
How about a guest spot on Jack Parr? Little Shop of Horrors.
Right.
And that nonsense aside, here's this other tweet of hers that really jumped out the window. Can't decide if I should still watch White Lotus tonight since one of the stars decided to tweet some nasty crap at me this week for liking Trump's address to the nation. What do we think? Girl, shut the fuck up.
Also, are we talking about Carrie Coon? Yes, she and Tracy Letts are not hyper-Republicans. Can you believe it? What an idiot.
Some nasty crap at me. Also, when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite. And that is what happens when you take a very clear Republican. We saw it on The View. We see it on Twitter. We see it in her support of the Federalist. And when you take her and you continue to put her on platforms that are places for LGBTQ people, like bringing her to the clubhouse on Watch What Happens Live constantly, and just being sort of happy for the scraps of allyship that she gives us, The clown is always going to come back to bite because they will rear their ugly head again and reveal that they're trash.
Also, how about in all the years we have known who this woman is, when she was a View panelist, whatever, she has not been smart one time. She is not an insightful person. Who is like needing this person to like contribute at all?
Yeah, it should have been obvious that she would eventually turn on trans people. But I don't know why people are shocked. And I can say one last thing, too, about people being shocked when the clown comes back to bite. My clown of the week is Columbia University.
Oh, in your current state of New York, what do they do wrong? Joseph Pulitzer, a big fan of Columbia University.
Well, I think we were all familiar with the protests that were happening on Columbia University's campus. You know, there was the whole fervor about Palestine, about Gaza, about whether or not supporting Palestine is anti-Semitic. And obviously people like Trump and conservatives like latch onto this shit because they're like, anti-Semitism, we get to do that and no one's mad about it. But let's turn support of Palestine into anti-Semitism. Obviously, Columbia University was awful to its students, shitty to its students, basically letting people like one of their students be arrested by ICE this week, and that was Mahmoud Khalil. They did all of this shit and not supporting their own students because they were trying to, just like Meghan McCain, suck up to Donald fucking Trump. Like, we're in this whole era now where everyone has decided we're going to do everything we can to get Donald Trump to like us. And then you know what happened? Donald Trump pulled federal funding from Columbia anyway. So the clown came back to bite, idiots.
Right. Yeah, there's no such thing as appeasing him. It's all about him, you know. So he decided there's no such thing. Like, you have to be such a suck up to him and like in his inner circle to be even remotely protected.
Yeah. Anyway, I think more people should be talking about this, and I'm sure, you know, they'll be talking about it on Pod Save America, etc. But I don't know. I think everyone should be terrified about the fact that no matter people's politics, marching up to somebody and like arresting them and then deciding you want to revoke their green card just because they were protesting is that's like the literal definition of fascism, you know? And there are people online who are going, well, maybe he's pro-Hamas, etc. And I'm like, you know what? You know who doesn't have their citizenship revoked? White people walking around with swastikas on them, like doing the Heil in streets to intimidate people, right? You know, so supporting Hitler, supporting Nazism, wearing your shitty...
Is less controversial than that.
Right.
Yes.
You know, wearing your shitty Walmart sheets that haven't been washed in 3 years as a hood when you want to be in a KKK rally. You also don't get your citizenship revoked for that. So I think it's dumb. And, you know, I guess we support some terrorism in America, but it has to be white terrorism.
Right. That does sound like us, ultimately, at this stage of the game, correct?
Anyway, that's our episode this week. We'll be back next week with more Keep It.